After Alexander Volkanovski's absolutely dominant performance against Max Holloway in UFC 276, we gotta wonder, what's next for the champ? He's already made his intention of moving up a division clear, but who might he face in the super competitive lightweight division? Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira? Keep watching as we look at what chances the champ has against the lightweight greats. First up, what's Volkanovski's next step? The great Volk showed everyone how he was levels apart from anyone in the division at UFC 276. Even a former champ like Holloway couldn't compare with the Aussie's speed and ferocity, and the nasty cut probably didn't help matters either. With a win over so many of the featherweight's best-ranked opponents, Volkanovski's now looking ahead and may go for the 155-pound belt too. After Charles Oliveira lost the belt due to missing weight, the lightweight champion's still up for grabs, even though top-ranked Charles Oliveira and fourth-ranked Islam Makhachev are in talks to square off at one of the promotion's forthcoming pay-per-view events. By the end of the year, Volk and the winner could be fighting for the belt. This is, of course, after the great heals from his broken hand, which could take 12 weeks or more. Now, how would Volkanovski fare against Islam Makhachev? If Volk doesn't fight Emmett or anyone in his division and looks ahead for double champ status, how successful would he be? The current 145-pound champion doesn't think of it as that big of a challenge. Javier Mendez, head coach of the American Kickboxing Academy, begs to differ. Mendez, who has experience with top lightweights, recently discussed Volkanovski's chances against Islam Makhachev, one of his prized current protégés, with Submission Radio. Not surprisingly, Mendez feels that Makhachev is a master of takedowns, and no matter how hard the champ tried, he wouldn't be able to stop Islam from taking him down. Many think that Volk might be Islam's biggest challenge, but Mendez doesn't believe that for a second. He feels Islam's defense is so good that he can stand with the featherweight. So, unless something out of the blue happens, Mendez doesn't think Volkanovski can handle Islam's ground game, and he won't be able to stop Islam from bringing the fight to the ground. In a potential matchup, Makhachev would gain an advantage of 5 inches in height, but loses 1 inch in reach. There isn't much standing in the way of a championship chance because UFC President Dana White recently told the combat sports media that Beneil Dariush and Mateusz Gamrot is the match to make. Plus, Oliveira doesn't have the same leverage in his Conor McGregor dream fight anymore because he doesn't have the belt. So if Makhachev isn't in any danger from the featherweight, Bronx definitely isn't either. Next up, Volkanovski at 155 has Dana White's full support. The idea of the UFC president's featherweight champion stepping up in weight has the president's approval. After 3 wins against Holloway and then 2 incredibly successful championship defenses against opponents like Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie, the champion has time and time again toyed with the idea of competing at 155 pounds for the gold. The champ feels he's on another level in this division, and who can blame him? When you've beaten every current contender in your division, then maybe moving up's the right call. If there's anyone who can be a double champ right now, it's definitely him. And let's not forget, Dana was open to the idea as long as Volkanovski defeats Holloway again, and the man has delivered. According to White, the Australian champion has earned the respect of everyone, and now can do whatever he likes, basically. We haven't seen him face off against a wrestler and submission artist like Bronx and Makhachev, so this is going to be the fight of a lifetime. Of course, the first fight to make is the 2 lightweights against each other, and then Volk will probably face the winner for the belt. So, Josh Thompson doesn't really have a lot of faith in the champ. On a Weighing In podcast, Thompson made the claim that the Australian lightweight champion will face Makhachev and Oliveira as the underdog. Now, that's a bold thing to say. One of Volkanovski's instructors, Eugene Behrman, reportedly said that his student will struggle more against Oliveira than Makhachev. In his eyes, Bronx is a more complete fighter than Makhachev, which will give him an obstacle he hasn't faced. The former UFC lightweight Josh Thompson disputed Behrman's views, arguing that Oliveira isn't actually superior to Makhachev. He claimed that the Russian's more effective on the ground than Oliveira, and that both fighters have seriously improved their striking in recent years. That's not all. Thompson claimed that Volkanovski can overcome the 2 best lightweights. He's confident that neither will be able to defeat the 145-pound featherweight because of the way he trains. He recalled that the great was an exceptional athlete who played rugby, and you can't deny that Volk has gotten better every time he steps into the octagon. Even with the height disadvantage in the lightweight division, he would find a way to power through. Now, is the Oliveira versus Makhachev fight even happening? This is going to be one of the most exciting fights ever. Not only will this answer the question of how well Oliveira can perform against one of Khabib's disciples, but it'll also open up the GOAT conversation once again. So, Bronx recently outlined the requirements if his fight with Islam Makhachev actually is going to happen. With Brazilian MMA legends, the former lightweight champion had a conversation about how he'd prefer to face Conor McGregor next time. And who can blame the guy? Everyone wants the big payday, and no one sells pay-per-view better than the Notorious. But here's the thing, the Brazilian's also willing to fight Makhachev anywhere in the globe only if he's fairly compensated. He asked Dana to call up his manager and talk numbers if he really wanted the fight to happen and to not call him up otherwise. In the lightweight division, Oliveira and Makhachev are both on winning streaks. Dobronx has won 11 straight fights and is very close to the divisional record of 12 that shared with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson. The Russian isn't far behind, as Makhachev's on a 10-fight winning streak after he most recently defeated Bobby Green. In his next bout, he hopes to be given a title shot, and that seems likely only if there are some more discussions behind closed doors. Now for some UFC other news. First up, Darren Till's having his Tyson Fury moment. Darren Till really isn't having a good time as he withdraws from UFC London. The Gorilla withdrew from the match against Jack Hermanson because of a leg injury, and this must feel like a recurring nightmare for the 29-year-old. Till was disappointed in the decision to withdraw because these injuries have continued to hamper his career, and in his last 3 appearances since switching from welterweight to middleweight, he has a 1-2 record. Till compared his unfortunate situation to that of heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury, who has spoken openly about his long battle with depression and anxiety. Gorilla intends to triumph when he fights once more, just as the Gypsy King did. The English fighter hasn't competed since losing to Derek Brunson at UFC Vegas 36 via third-round rear-naked choke, and we don't really know when his next fight is going to be. Up next, Belal Muhammad feels like he's ready for the big boys. Make no mistake, Belal Muhammad's prepared to show his skills inside the octagon. Some people might not have taken him seriously, but Belal actually set up a fight with Khamzat, but the fight didn't really gain traction. The two agreed to fight in Abu Dhabi in October, but Dana had other plans, and Sean Brady will now be his opponent instead of Khamzat. For remember the name, his next opponent is just a stepping stone before he eventually defeats two of the biggest fish in welterweight competition who are ranked ahead of him. Even with the fact that Brady's ranked number 9, Belal also feels that his fighting style is the worst against Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev, so the promotion isn't letting him fight them. At UFC Vegas 51, the 34-year-old defeated Vicente Luque by unanimous decision in what is likely his best victory to date. Belal's victories over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Damian Maia, both past UFC title contenders, propelled him to number 5 in the official UFC welterweight rankings, so there are some exciting fights in the future for him. Remember the name will be watching the title's defense on August 20th in Salt Lake City, Utah, as he gets ready to try to earn his 8th victory in 9 fights. The Nigerian Nightmare will face Leon Edwards again in the main event at UFC 278 with the goal of making his 6th title defense and maintaining his position as the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And finally, what's next for Khamzat? Boris is always ready for a fight. As usual, the unbeaten champion of the Chechen nation has been ready and willing to take on anyone who dares face him in the octagon. After recent rumors of showdowns with Belal Muhammad and Nate Diaz fizzled out, fans were left wondering who Khamzat would fight next and when. For now, he should probably give his smash bro Darren Till some much-needed support. That's a wrap for this video. How do you think Volk will perform in the lightweight division? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.